What's up, guys? It's Toyhouze here, and today we're going to talk about the 5 things you'll want to make sure to do in Phase 1 so that you don't regret not doing it in Phase 1. Hopefully there is some good info in this for you to work on once you're max level and you're like, what is there to do now? So let's just jump right into it. Number 1, you're going to want to level your professions. Now, there are certain time-gated materials like spellcloth, shadowcloth, primal mooncloth with cooldowns of nearly 4 days, which we'll want to use as much as possible on that cooldown, as well as alchemy transmute cooldowns such as primal might or transmute earthstorm diamond, both with 20-hour cooldowns, and there's so many more. So you'll want to get those professions maxed out ASAP to start cranking out those high ticket, also known as very expensive, items. If you don't, you'll probably fall behind in both gear and gold, since a lot of best in slot gear actually comes from professions in the Burning Crusade, and if you don't have the right professions, then you won't have these pricey items to sell in order to buy those crafted best in slot pieces. So, even if you have a gathering profession, you're going to want to start gathering those, max that out in order to sell, to buy your crafted best in slot pieces from other people with the right profession. It's really important to get those gathering professions maxed out just as well, because as you know, prices have been consistently going down each day, so you'll want to sell those gathered materials ASAP. So either way, professions are super important to max out ASAP in Phase 1, and if you don't, I guarantee when Phase 2 comes rolling around, you will definitely regret missing out on all of that gold. All right, let's move on to number 2. What you're going to want to do is get flying, both regular and epic. So there is a ton of traveling involved, whether that's going to dungeons or even questing for gold or attunements, or simply gathering ore or herbs or even motes using the Zap Throttle mote extractor. So you'll want this huge quality of life improvement sooner than later, because if you think about it, the more traveling you do, the more often this is going to come in handy. So, the sooner you get it, the more you're going to be able to maximize on it. So basically, the sooner you get it, the better, because the longer you're going to be using a slow mount, the longer you don't have your epic flying mount, right? So this is sort of, how quickly can you improve your quality of gameplay is really basically what this is all about. Now, I made tons of guides on how to hopefully get your epic flying mount, which hopefully is helpful, but there's so much to do, in World of Warcraft, whether that's, getting those attunements, traveling to those dungeons, gathering those herbs, and frankly, you're just going to want to have that epic flying mount as soon as you possibly can. Regular mount, you should definitely have enough gold for that, but quite frankly, it's almost better to ride around in your epic ground mount than it is to ride in your flying mount. So getting that epic flying mount during Phase 1 will definitely be a great use of your time, as it will basically help you throughout the entirety of the rest of the Burning Crusade, and you really won't regret getting it, that's for sure. All right, moving on to number 3, attunements. Now, this is very important, actually. So I kind of mentioned, you're going to want that epic flying mount in order to start, working on your attunements, and it'll make it a whole lot easier. Well, it's very true. If you look at some of the attunements for the Eye or Serpent Shrine Caverns or even Black Temple, a lot of them involve quests, right? And, honestly, to get around and do these quests efficiently, quickly, easily, you're going to want an epic flying mount. But also, you could technically wait, because in Phase 1 you can't actually, enter these raids, but if you wait, then right when Phase 2 basically comes out, you're going to find yourself in this position where you're trying to go do those quests, and these quests, by the way, involve going into heroic dungeons, regular dungeons, in order to complete these quests, as well as, just going around and, kill quests, gather quests, things like that. But you're going to find yourself doing these attunement quests while other people are already raiding these raids, because they did it in Phase 1, and so you're going to be like, oh crap, I'm trying to catch up now. I was already behind, now I'm even more behind. I would highly recommend you look at the add-on Attune. It's going to really show you how to get attuned to each of these raids in an effective way, because you might, do a certain dungeon and then realize, oh man, I should have had this quest before I went and did it, and you're going to find yourself repeating dungeons when you could have gotten 3 or 4 quests all done all at once. For example, like the Arcatraz, you could have gotten attunement for the Eye. You could have also been working on that heroic reputation. You could also talk to the Ash Tongue there for the Black Temple attunement. So many, right? All at once. And so it's very important to start working on those. And attunements in general are very important to work on, because if you're not heroic attuned, then you can't get attuned to, for example, the Eye or Serpentine Cavern, because some of those attunements require that you go into heroic dungeons. Even for Nightbane, you need to be attuned to heroic, you have to have that revered reputation with Lower City, as well as Honor Hold, in order to go gather the 2 tomes in order to summon Nightbane. So there's a ton of attunements required. Again, highly recommend the add-on Attune. Basically, just get these out of the way in phase 1. It's going to make the rest of your TBC journey so much better, and you're not going to want to be trying to do this stuff in phase 2 when Serpentine Caverns and the Eye are both available, because you're going to fall behind. So that is my recommendation for you. Start working on those attunements before you fall behind. All right, moving on to number 4. Really, I think that this one is probably overlooked by certain people, but I think PvP is actually a very important thing to mention, and something that many people probably don't want to do because they're just like, I hate PvP, I don't want to do it. But this is another time-gated thing that you should probably at least consider, even if it's not something you're passionate about. So there is a weekly arena points payout, and there's some seriously powerful gear that you can get from PvP, and not all of it is sort of behind the gate of arena rating points, or arena rating in general, right? So you can just do your weekly arena games, get your arena points, and then purchase some of the gear that is not locked behind arena rating. And this is some seriously powerful gear, and it might not be your best in slot gear, but think about this. Let's say you're on a PvP server, you're just gathering, whether that's ore or herbs or motes, and I actually just did a survey, and I'm like, if you saw someone mining ore or a herb, would you try to steal it from them? And the majority of people said yes. So if you're on a PvP server, you can expect that typically when you're going around farming, you're probably going to run into some PvP. So this PvP gear, well, niche, especially on a PvP server, right? You're going to want that resilience gear, which is only applicable in PvP scenarios. Now, if you're on a PvE server, this is a totally different situation, but on a PvP server, you could find some serious advantage to having some PvP gear ready for when you're going to go around and do some world farming on a PvP server. Again, it could really make the difference between, getting that node or having to basically lose the node and then having to walk all the way back to your corpse at the speed of, just walking, right? So that is definitely a good advantage. And remember, it is, time gated, so might as well just do the absolute minimum, do your 10 games each week and get some of those points. Minimum effort for at least some reward. So highly recommend the PvP daily for that gold as well as that honor, and then do that weekly arena point payout. I think you will regret it if you don't. All right, we're moving on to number 5. The number 5 thing that you should really try to do within phase 1, or else you might regret it in the future, is daily quests. Now, there are heroic daily dungeons, there are regular daily dungeons, there are fishing dailies and cooking dailies, as well as PvP dailies. That is what is available right now in phase 1. That is not comprehensive of all dailies that will be available in the Burning Crusade, because more of them will become available in future phases, but it is a good idea to take advantage of these, because once again, it is time gated. Of course, you can only do these once a day, and the advantages of doing them, if you do the heroic dungeons, you're going to get badges of justice, and they are going to allow you to purchase some extremely powerful gear. Now, these basically are probably going to allow you to purchase your best in slot gear. If you're not familiar with your best in slot gear, I definitely recommend that as well. But you're going to get 2 of those, as well as 1 from each boss you kill. But getting 2 for just doing a quest in addition to the dungeon you just did, it's a nice boost that you should take advantage of each day. So make sure you're aware of that in doing those heroic dailies. Now, if you do regular dungeon dailies, you also get an Ethereum prison key. Now, if you're short on gold, these typically, at least on my server, go for about 30 gold. On a lower populated server, you'll probably get less. Might just be better to go ahead and use those keys, which will also provide you with some reputation, some various different items if you go and unlock some prisoners up in the Ethereum staging grounds in Netherstorm. Now, the other 2 dailies are fishing and cooking. There are some nice recipes that are available from the rewards from fishing and cooking, as well as some very fun, flavorful fishing rewards. I think that if you have the skill in fishing and cooking, you definitely want to go ahead and do it. If you don't, and that doesn't interest you, then by all means, I'm not saying you have to, but it is, again, time gated behind the daily. Also, PvP daily quests, like I mentioned in the last point, number 4, are definitely worth doing. It's very simple, typically, hopefully, if your faction can win. It's a quick, like, 12 gold and, like, 500 honor. It's totally worth doing because it's a nice boost. Basically, you know, it's minimal effort and you get a nice reward, so might as well just do it every day. So I recommend doing your dailies every day in phase 1, so that going into phase 2, you'll have a ton of badges. You'll have, hopefully, a bunch more gold than if you didn't do them. So I think that is my 5th point that I think you should do during phase 1. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you want more World of Warcraft content, don't forget to subscribe. My name's Toyhouze, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.